It's trucks.
It is trucks.
It's the final trucks of the year. But
That is true.
Not quite a true year-end trucks.
No, the standard year-end trucks format is, of course, to go over all of the best things that happened this year. But it's not been a good year, has it?
We're both a bit at a loss. I'm sure some good things happened.
The Wreck-It Ralph sequel came out.
I didn't see it. Was it good?
There's a lot of entertaining a lot. There are 2 entertaining sequences involving Disney princesses. That's pretty much the highlight.
I'm sure if I were pressed, I could come up with some serious highlights for the year, and I could probably improve my mood significantly about the year that has transpired.
Oh, but maybe we ought to do that then as a sort of therapeutic exercise.
Maybe, but it's going to be a lot of me sitting here quietly thinking hard about what happened this year.
True. The Wreck-It Ralph sequel has a moral about avoiding codependent friendships and how following your dream can sometimes mean, leaving your old milieu behind, and how you can't get too broken up about it. Because insecurity and jealousy can turn into this sort of apocalyptic monster.
Did you find this timely to your experiences?
I mean, to my life generally.
Yeah.
I felt for Ralph.
Ralph, what a gentle soul. He's gonna wreck it, but gently.
But he doesn't want to wreck it. He just he just has problems, man. Problem town.
Problem town.
Problem town. The Undertale sequel demo came out this year, which you didn't play.
Yep.
Yeah, and it became garbage almost instantly. There's nothing like Undertale for becoming garbage instantly. There's this particular... It's almost as if it was constructed out of garbage already, and then all it needs is to be exposed to the air for 24 hours to become garbage.
Wait, are you saying you didn't like the Undertale sequel, or just...
No, I thought it was great, just culturally.
I see.
Maybe I'm in a down period vis-a-vis fandom. I gotta tell you. I mean, maybe I'm finally growing up. That would be a shocking development. But just not enjoying it as much as I used to. Starting to see a certain amount of creative bankruptcy all up in it.
The same shit always?
Yeah, it turns out. I joined Tumblr in maybe 6 or 7 years ago now? Which in and of itself was because I saw my younger, cooler coworker doing it and thought, gee, I can do that probably.
Probably.
Because we used to sit at work and just scroll through our dash commenting on things that went past. That was a fun time. And now Tumblr seems to be drawing to a close, almost.
Yeah. The internet will go on.
I mean, the internet is certainly going to go on.
It'll all it's happening again. We really should try to get Naked Bee on here to talk about how this is, remarkably similar to what she has told us about LiveJournal and all that.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of people who have already, made all of those discussions.
It's true, but, what are we if not other people also having that discussion?
That's true. Well, here's the thing. On my bird blog, I reblogged a humorous GIF in which a bunch of, humorously plump birds were abandoning a sinking ship, clutching some suggestively named candies to themselves, and panicking. And somebody reblogged this from my bird blog with an editorial about how it's good that there won't be porn on Tumblr anymore. And I've seen a couple of opinions where from people who are like, well, I don't interact with any of these communities, so this doesn't affect me.
Yeah, I mean, I don't particularly either, but I mean, even if we were to buy into the premise that just removing, cleanly excising the adult stuff from Tumblr would be fine, which, not really, but even if we were to buy that, there's still the issue that they have made the biggest mess possible of the execution.
Yes, if that thing which the Supreme Court has famously not been able to determine what constitutes pornography and what doesn't.
Yep.
If a I think it lasts recording a open source free algorithm
that you can get around just by tagging your post SFW.
Safe for work.
It's I mean, once again the subject comes up of who the hell thought computers were ready to make these kinds of judgments, especially in this case the kinds of judgments that no human being has ever been successfully able to like conclusively draw.
I know it when I see it.
Yes. The classic
is the classic definition. It's kind of mind-boggling, and it's like, you know, my basic reaction as an uppity nerd from way back has been like censorship. You know, to censorship. And then, you know, my secondary reaction is that this is this is part of the larger cultural discussion in all the ways that we have discussed. And then the third reaction is it's just a cesspool anyway. Burn it to the ground.
Tumblr was good. It wasn't a cesspool. It was, if anything, an oasis. An oasis with a lot of stupid shit on it, but that comes with the territory. Oh, fuck!
What happened there, Josh?
There was a road service van that I didn't notice until it was too late, and so I dinked somebody with my mobile barrier.
Ooh, that's a very exciting piece of cargo that we have there today.
Yes, this is the wall that we shall erect between ourselves and 2018.
We could just sort of stop now, and you can make the rest of these people's commutes very exciting.
I could literally put this across a highway, and we could just see what happens.
Yeah, that's exciting.
Anyway, where was I?
Well.
I liked Tumblr. I think it was, you know, there were a lot of things that aligned about Tumblr. I saw someone point out that the fact that you can't see how many followers a person had, like, kind of helped Tumblr avoid these kinds of shallow cults of personality you see on other social networks, and I think that's very true.
That is true.
Very freely expressive Tumblr in its prime.
Yeah, and you know, I find myself I started to like consciously not look at Tumblr like maybe a week before this whole thing came out. People, I have an ask on my Wizard blog, which is what it is now, accusing me of causing this through dark magics.
Yeah,
which is pretty good.
It's possible. It could be.
I was plugged into some sort of zeitgeist, like, you know, I felt like there was trouble a brewing, and there was. It turns out.
Yeah. Nothing lasts, especially on the internet.
Well, let's try to think of something nice to say about 2018, shall we?
It's the year I got into Tekken. That's like, for me right now, that's how it feels.
There you go. You've been how good are you at Tekken now?
I think I'm much better at Tekken than I could have conceived of being when I started playing Tekken.
Ooh, that's very exciting.
It is. I'm not like, but in the scale of things, you know, there's still the horizon expands infinitely into the distance for how good it's still possible to get at Tekken. And kind of the exciting thing about Tekken is that even people at the highest level still have that same perspective on Tekken. It's just everybody is still learning about Tekken always. But yeah, like, Tekken for me has been an exercise in, like, a real exercise in neuroplasticity. They say that's kind of what all games are in a way, but this is a game where it's just too fast and too detailed for you to really think in the moment, like, turn by turn about what the right play is. So you just need to figure out ways on the fly to modify your reflexes and, you know, do that, hopefully between rounds. And so, I don't know, it's a game about encountering probably the upper limits of what your brain can actually do. So, in other words, I could have learned to play the piano.
Could you have learned to play the piano?
Probably, maybe, I don't know.
Wow. If only there was a way to play the piano competitively over the internet.
Right? Like, if
you'd be in great shape.
Yeah, that would be. I mean, there is a piano version of Rocksmith or something, isn't there? Maybe.
Don't ask me.
Yeah, well, this is probably what I need. Just someone to keep track of how much better I'm getting at the piano and to tell me good job. but not to be. This someone needs to be a computer program, because if a person does that, I'm gonna like not trust them. But if a computer program lets me like personally track my.
Oh, you're objectively good at music now, Josh.
Yes, that's correct.
That's what this app says. Also, it says that your that your piano playing is not safe for work. I'm not sure how that.
Fuck. I'm stuck on my own barrier.
Oh no. Oh geez. Funnily enough, 2018 is also the year where I started writing music again, or at least recording the music that I had written and presenting it.
Yeah.
Which has been an exciting development. Yeah. I'm better at playing guitar now than I've ever been.
That's great.
Which isn't.
Did a computer tell you that, or did you figure it out on your
No,
own?
it's clear if you listen to the recordings. But that's positive. Like, I'm still not good at playing guitar, and by default, the aesthetic that I have to adopt with my music is the aesthetic of lo-fi, failure and crinkles, because I am not capable of achieving anything that sounds nice. But I'm pretty good at making things sound bad in ways that seem intentional.
Yeah, no, that's the best.
Yeah, and it's also happens to be something that I enjoy listening to, which is handy for me. It's good that when one's ambitions, one's skills, and one's tastes line up, even if they do so at a point that's relatively low on the graph.
Music is good like that.
As it were. Yeah.
It's also the year I started making music.
That's true.
Much like less fluently than you are doing so, but still I find that the experience of making music is very nice in that you just make a sound and you get to hear it right away. And it's a good sound, hopefully. I
would like to encourage you to keep doing that, because the sounds that you're making are pleasant to my ears.
Why, thank you.
Indeed. So yes, we've expanded creatively this year.
It's true.
I'm just to the point where Tumblr may or may not entirely cease to be a thing, but will certainly stop being a viable thing. I can't. One of the byproducts of the whole Tumblr being on fire thing is I can't tell whether I'm losing followers hand over fist just because of the wizard blogging, or because people are just abandoning Tumblr entirely at the same time, coincidentally. I'm sure it's a little column A in most of the first one.
It's really hard to say. I mean, a lot of people are just having their blogs deleted, right?
There is that, yeah. People are just being ping popped off. And I'm sure that of the 700 odd people that follow that, there are maybe only 100 people who are actually actively on Tumblr.
It seems to me that the people who are really invested in your blogging have no cause for complaint with the wizard stuff. It seems
absolutely not.
It's a deepening of your brand, if anything.
Yeah, I mean it's all about drilling down to the core audience. Although I'm not. I mean, truth be told, I'm not doing this for anybody but myself. But I really haven't. I mean, it's actually slightly surprising to me that I haven't tried to use Tumblr for something like this before, because it seems perfectly suited to it. I've kind of given the game away now, partially because people kept messaging me asking me if I was okay. But that initial couple of weeks when nobody was entirely sure whether I was having a genuine nervous breakdown or not, where I think that was good stuff. From a creative standpoint,
it was definitely compelling in a way. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think I would like to continue along those lines. I think that it's entirely possible.
I think you're still treading discomforting ground in that creatively productive way, in ways that maybe maybe I shouldn't underline too explicitly, lest I spoil the magic and get you to explain it. But
there's no danger of that. But yeah, no, definitely is the case. I'm enjoying myself, and it's the first. I realized also that it's the first time I've enjoyed being online for some time. Also, it's what you make of it, I guess.
That's not quite true. We've both been enjoying the Trucks Discord.
Oh no! I meant in terms
exercising a public
facing
web
as opposed to semi-private facing, which is what the Discord is. The Discord is a community, which was brought home to me in a active. I know that the person who I'm talking about doesn't listen to this, so I feel but I shed genuine tears because of the Discord just yesterday, and
how wonderful. The internet.
Community is
Maybe the internet was
community
the
is
friends
great.
we made along the way.
It really was like, and even if Tumblr explodes, we have such a lovely crew of people that we have accumulated here at Trucks, and we've occasionally been able to have like genuinely positive effects on each other's lives. Like, what more can you ask for, really?
Yeah, nothing. That's
Yeah.
what it's all about. So maybe 2018 hasn't been that bad after all.
I mean, it's I was horribly injured in 2018.
Yes, but silver linings.
Lost a long-standing friendship because of money, because of large amounts of money that I'm owed and I'm never going to get back.
Oh no.
And probably have essentially no relationship with my mother left at this point. But oddly enough, where I'm sitting now, all of that stuff is a net positive. So yeah, it's been a year. Like, it's been a significant fucking year for me.
That's teachable. It's almost cheesily teachable about the take the good with the bad type of sentiment.
I mean, the thing about it is that you have to.
You have no choice.
Exactly, because it is your life. Like, if you continue to, just run simulations on how things might have been different. I mean, I really would have preferred not to have broken my leg.
Yes.
But, apart from that, a lot of it is stuff that had to happen. Oh boy. And into the new year we go. I'm going to be seeing you soon.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm going to be swooping through New York. I'm going to see some of the New York folks soon.
Yeah, yeah.
I realized that I'm going to be in New York for like 3 days, and so I bought a ticket to some modern dance.
Oh, sick.
Because I'm not getting that out here in the sticks.
I hope it's good modern dance. All my experiences with modern dance have been negative, as I think I've explained in past trucks.
I've had like 90% positive feelings about stuff that I've seen at this particular venue.
That's good.
Which is New York Live Arts. If anybody is in the New York region, just pop over to New York Live Arts of an evening and see some dance, and you'll certainly be provoked. I mean, you may or may not enjoy yourself, but have you watched Neo Yokio, Josh?
I've watched an episode or two.
A Christmas special just dropped, which might be a fun thing for.
It sounded like it sort of underlined the point a little bit more explicitly.
Yeah, or like it did sort of like look to the audience and say, we don't have to be too explicit about what the point is.
I see.
But it's I think that it's a neater expression of the same deal than the original show was. And it turns out that Christmas, being the orgy of materialism that it is actually a very good and appropriate thing for the show to hang on.
That makes sense. Yeah, I liked.
It's
what I
also
saw
a
of the
love letter
show.
to the city of New York, which
It was one of those
or a
shows
particular
where
version of the city of New York. Go ahead.
Yeah, it was one of those shows where all of the jokes made me stroke my chin in appreciation more than laugh.
Laughing is overrated, I feel.
Yeah, no, it's true. I think I'm on the record as saying that I like the chin stroking jokes more as general matter. But it was also like hard to tell if that was the show having its intended effect or not,
I'd say so. It's another one of those things where it's like the guy who writes it is not a comedian, He's a clever man.
Right.
He's the sort of clever man who writes Vampire Weekend lyrics.
Yes.
He is, in fact, exactly the clever man who writes Vampire Weekend lyrics.
Look at this beguiling confection of a show I have concocted.
That's pretty much it, yeah. Like, the whole... It does the whole, like, presenting the highbrow and the lowbrow next to each other and examining how they're interlinked. All the stuff that I like, essentially. And also, like, being incredibly self-satisfied with its privilege, but also, like, at all times being aware of how insupportable it all is, which, is a mood.
Yeah.
I hate to say it, but it's a mood. So like there's something that came out just at the end of this year that I enjoyed.
Good. Good, good,
Yeah.
good. For me, it's been a pretty dry year media-wise, and my biggest regret this year is that most of my IRL friendships have dissolved or just faded into the distance. But
New York will do that to you.
yeah, I mean, yeah, it's like the cycles of everybody moving out of the city because they can't stand it anymore, and also just my friend lives on the other side of town, and neither of us want to schlep all the way over. And
It's true.
this one's too busy with his like serious New York job, all that kind of thing. So I'm,
Did I tell you that lives in?
yeah. Why would you say that in a Trucks though?
Because nobody knows who the fuck. Is.
I think I'm gonna bleep it. I think I'm gonna bleep
Yeah,
it. for his sake.
you really ought to. I think that's their Tumblr name. Actually, I've been in error.
But yes,
But anyway.
we have spoken about hanging out. It will hopefully
That's
happen
good.
soon.
Ideally, that you could
Look
like
at-
do that once and then decide it's a bad idea.
Looking
But-
forward to it. Bleep name.
Sorry to have caused more work for you in this one that you have to edit over the course of a week.
That's okay. It's okay. Yeah, you know, looking at the prospect of rebuilding my social life with equal parts trepidation and excitement, I guess it's just one of those things where you can't be confident that it'll go well until it's already happened. So it's
Yeah.
casting probably a disproportionate pall over the year that has like put me in the position where I need to. Oh, I failed to stop it. Whatever. It's making me probably feel gloomier about my year than is really necessary, because I had.
Yeah, same for me, but with my job and career,
Right.
essentially. But yeah, I will have to rebuild that at some point, and pushing it back
Yeah.
until absolutely everything else that I need to do has been taken care of.
But yeah, I don't know. I have to say, at the start of this conceptually loaded Trucks, where I'm carrying a wall behind me, I had a feeling that I would have nothing to talk about or say, and that the prospect of talking about 2018 would make me miserable. But it hasn't done so, which I think is a positive lesson in and of itself.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, there's today I feel optimistic,
Yeah.
and like part of that is because I've been through some shit, and I'm still alive. And having been through some shit and being still alive, I feel like less sad about being 35.
Yeah.
I feel less sad about the stuff that isn't like right up in my face. I think that like part of the whole part of my whole deal right now is being like, yeah, no, this is it, but it could be worse.
Yeah. You get to.
I got some skills, I got some community, I got some fun.
Life is a gift because you get to hear chords.
Yeah, I can make chords.
Yeah.
I can make all kinds of chords. Check this one out. Or this one. Or this one. I can make-
One or two of those chords made me almost remember songs.
Hey.
No, what was that last? Whatever. Music.
Should old acquaintance be forgot and never brought to mind? My brother's about to get married, man.
Wow.
I'm gonna go.
That's been a long time coming.
Yeah.
Mazel
Yeah.
tov.
And you can bleep those too.
Sure.
Just for fun.
Snuffkin
our former roommates are
Yes. Whoa.
are about to tie the knot.
Yes. It's good. It's good news. I no longer know those people.
No, but I'm sure that if I were to mention your name to either of them, they would think of you fondly.
You think so? I'm glad to hear that. I always figured I was a somewhat annoying roommate to them, and we never got to know each other much better than that.
They both still like me, and I've done far worse things to both of them than.
That's true, but you're also, you have a personal history with them and closeness and like shared
Yes, I-
experiences, and I'm just the
I-
guy
I-
who would mutter to his computer through the wall all night.
Yeah, but neither of them dislike you. I'm pretty certain of that.
That's good news.
Just never able to, get that groove.
Sure.
But you've got a very specific groove, which is, and it's not like an unapproachable groove. In fact, through its very mellowness, it is a very valuable groove. Just like I think that you got to be on a certain thing to ride that bus.
All right.
Get on that truck.
I appreciate that appraisal.
Mm-hmm. In this time of reflection and enjoyment of what, to all accounts, has been a shitty time, but has had some bonus features coming out of it.
The shitty times have made me appreciate more and more just the essence of life itself being an appreciable thing.
Ooh.
It sounds like a
fact
pretentious ass thing to say. I sound like the CEO of Twitter, talking about sitting on a concrete floor, crossing his legs, and just observing the pain pass through his legs. But
I mean, that's a perfectly fine thing to think. I mean, I wish that it wasn't coming from an anti-Semite, but I would say that
all paths to spiritual enlightenment are simultaneously very true and very real, and completely insufferable to hear anybody talk about.
Yeah, no, that's why you got to make if you're going to talk to people about your journey, you got to make it entertaining.
Yeah, my path has mostly just been to keep it the fuck to myself.
That's true. Like it's actually kind of astounding. We've been friends for 6 years now. Is that right? I just pulled that number out of my ass.
Maybe even longer than that. Probably even longer than that.
Probably even longer than that. We've been friends for 6 or 7 years.
I'm gonna say it might be 8 years.
It can't possibly be more than 8 years, but
about 8 years. I was still in college.
Oh yeah.
I graduated. When did I graduate? I graduated in 2012, right?
Yeah, 6 years ago.
Yeah, but
so it's
we were friends.
We've known each other for between
about
6
7
and 8 years.
I think about 7 years.
7 years. We've known the point that I was trying to make is that we've known each other for about 7 years.
A long fuck time in the scheme of things.
Yeah, I would say that we were pretty close friends, and yet there's an entire category of stuff that we don't talk about.
Yeah.
The two of us, and that is largely, I think, down to your essential reticence.
Right. It's not worth talking about. It does. No value is added for me by talking about it. Which for most things in my life, that's not true. I have this compulsion to share a lot of stuff. I feel like my opinions on media need to be heard, which is a silly thing to think, and I think it's.
You've been reassessing that opinion lately.
Yes, definitely, and I think a big part of that is because I've encountered much deeper, more meaningful thoughts and feelings that I feel no compulsion to share.
Ah, I see. Your interiority is becoming richer, and therefore you do not feel the need to talk about Dark Souls quite as much,
or something like that.
Yeah,
I do want to talk about Dark Souls still. I think if I have one opinion which is worth putting out there, it's my Dark Souls opinions.
I'm absolutely not going to say a single thing about about the sentence that you just uttered. But that's cool. I respect that level of interiority. I'm a writer, and therefore I want to tell everybody everything.
Yeah, I'm a writer too.
I understand that my right to do that is pursuant only on my ability to make it good.
Sure. Well, not your right. But you're
my right
maybe
to broadcast it to the fucking masses.
You're right to expect it to be listened to.
Heard.
Anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
That's
a better way to put it.
Here's my New Year's resolution. I think here's the preamble to my New Year's resolution, which will be followed by my New Year's resolution. Also, here's a police siren. I can't park this truck. And
I bet you can.
Back when I was getting out of college, fiction writing college, I was struggling with how do I say specific things with my writing, right? And I've told you this story before. The realization I came to was, wait a minute, I can just say the things directly instead of couching it in some kind of narrative device. and so I got focused on nonfiction for a while and critical writing. But I think I want to start writing fiction again. I think it's time for me to revisit the numinous.
Ooh, I agree. And like, here's maybe an ancillary. See, I knew you could.
That was
All you had to
cool
do was
one.
scrape your wall up against the wall.
No one can prove
Look
that
at that
my thing made...
tableau!
It's gone now. I wish I'd lingered.
Ah, fucking balloon and everything.
Go on. You were saying...
I was saying that part of my deal right now has been questioning all of the values that my mother taught me. Not that they're all wrong or bad, just that putting them back in the hopper and seeing if they still make sense to me. And the idea that fiction has to say something, rather than say a piece of fiction can be a color,
Sure.
a mood, as with Neo Yokio, which has nothing like, culturally upstanding to say by any stretch of the imagination. Just a feeling, that's sufficient.
Totally. Totally.
If it has truth at the bottom of it, if it's observed and then expressed, like, that's enough. And yeah, and if you can plumb logic to its fucking depths and not find anything that's going to make me want to get out of bed in the morning. So maybe I'll write something about a feeling.
Wow. Cool. I like it. I think we've come out of this with a positive takeaway. There's now a wall in Winnemucca.
Yeah, and we accomplished something.
I don't need to know what they'll do with it.
Yes. Buddy, I'm looking forward to hanging out with you.
Yeah, in California.
In a few weeks' time.
I need to remind myself when that's actually happening. But yes, whatever we arranged is probably still good. Okay, it's time to stop recording this conversation.
Yes, that's true. Bye-bye, everybody.
Goodbye. Happy New Year.